enough, but MJ's got to stay relevant.
Of course, he probably wants to go one-on-one with him. Unlike LeVar, he could probably actually beat some of those guys.
Keeping his name in the news.
Welcome to the Jump, everybody. I'm Ramona Shelburne in for Rachel Nichols, and we're joined today by two men who know the reigning Finals MVP, Kevin Durant, better than just about everybody. That's Royce Young. He used to cover him in Oklahoma, and that's Chris Haynes. He covers him now in Golden State. They're like the ghost of Christmas past and the present when it comes to Kevin Durant. Look at that guy. Aw. Come on, smile in your picture. You're Santa Claus over there, Roy.
That's what Christmas past looks like.
There was Oklahoma City Kevin Durant. And then there is Golden State Kevin Durant. And now, apparently, there he is. Look at the backpack. Look, Russell. Oh, that's cute. Remember that? Remember when you used to sit next to him in those press conferences?
So nice.
And now look, it's Steph.
Yeah.
I remember that when they were sitting together. I was like, oh gosh, that's so synchronicity right there.
Well, it was by intent there.
And now, guess where he is now? India. Have you seen these photos?
Yes, I have.
He's like traveling the world in India,
Doing
pictures with the Taj Mahal. See, Kevin Durant is doing what most people do right after college, traveling the world and hoping to find themselves along the way. It can be an awkward journey sometimes. People get hurt along the way. But KD's embracing it. Here's what he told me last spring. I used to feel embarrassed because I didn't know who I was. I know where I stand in my core values, how I'm supposed to treat people, and how I'm supposed to act in certain situations. But as far as knowing me, knowing what I like and what makes me happy, I'm still trying to figure that out. That's an ongoing process. So I asked you guys who know Kevin Durant the best, which version of KD is closest to the real KD?
I would say whatever is the current version of KD is the closest to Kevin Durant because, look, this is a guy that he can go hot, he can go cold, he can go up, he can go down. So whoever Kevin Durant is in that moment, that's who he is. And that's not necessarily something that's a bad thing. But, yeah, he certainly has evolved as a person, as a man, from who he was as a 19-year-old in Oklahoma City to who he is today, apparently in India.
No, I would agree with him to a certain extent. I think in Golden State it allows him to be who he is, and that's just a baller. He's just a hooper. Right. The Golden State has leaders. They have captains. They have Draymond Green who can go out and say things vocally. In OKC, we saw him kind of sticking it to the media, saying that they don't know what they're talking about. He felt like he had to take on that role of being an enforcer, a vocal enforcer. Now he stands behind the scenes, and he's just able to play basketball. And I think that's where he's most comfortable at.
I think one of the things that I felt when I would cover Kevin in Oklahoma is that, like, I would cover him and he'd come through L.A. or we'd see him in Oklahoma, and he'd ask questions. Like, he was searching for something. Like, he was asking questions. What's it like in L.A.? What's it like there? He would ask questions about people in the league. And you don't often see, like, we showed the photo of Westbrook and Kevin and Steph Curry. Both those guys are married. They have children. They're like, sort of grounded in their life. Kevin's out, like, taking fun selfies with the Taj Mahal in India. Like, he's exploring the world.
What's up with that one picture right there we just missed? Having his shirt tucked in. The shirt. What's going on with that?
Look, I think Kevin Durant is in his comfort zone in Golden State. I think that in Oklahoma City, and this is not to say that this is anything negative about Kevin Durant, but I think that, like Chris kind of alluded to, I don't think he was always comfortable being the complete leader of a franchise. I think Kevin is a little bit of a background guy. I think he likes to fit in more than he likes to stand out in front of everything. And the Warriors gave him that opportunity. And I think, Ramona, I think that's where he's most comfortable. I think that's where he's found his complete confidence as a player and as a person.
What's interesting when you deal with Kevin is, like, most people feel like the superstar, right? Somebody who's as good as he is, Finals MVP, would have it all figured out. But there's a sort of restlessness to him and a searching to him that I don't know is ever going to end. I don't know if it's going to be like that when he's 40, when he's 50, because that's just kind of his personality. But when you pick up on that, sometimes people interpret that as insecurity. They interpret that as weakness. And in reality, I'm kind of like that too. Like, I'm somebody who I'm influenced by people who have risen in my life. Like, that is, like, I think Draymond Green has actually influenced Kevin Durant a lot. Like, I feel like Steph Curry has influenced him a lot. Steve Kerr has influenced him a lot. And when he was in Oklahoma City, I don't know who was influencing him.
Russell Westbrook, and that obviously wasn't necessarily, I think that for Kevin, I think that he's just, like I said, I think that he's found kind of an inner confidence to himself. But I do think, like you said, Ramon, I think that he has often tried to find some motivation. He's always been an amazing basketball player, but whether it's him looking to LeBron and now saying that he's better than him or whatever it is, Kevin is always trying to find something to strive for and to go after. And some people perceive that as insecurity. I think it's just Kevin looking for motivation.
Do you think this ever changes? Do you think this whole thing with Oklahoma and Russ, do you think that ever goes away?
Yeah, eventually. Anytime soon, I would think not. I think those two still have some ill wills. They supposedly have talked and discussed things out. I don't know if that bears fruit to what we're seeing right now, but look, I think Kevin Durant is absolutely loving where he's at right now. I'm talking about the place that he's at right now, being NBA champion. I remember when we were reporting, Ramona, that he was going to take less. I actually texted him to give him a heads up, and he texted me back, he said, you know what, I like that you put NBA Finals MVP in that sentence right there. So he's definitely loving the accolades and what he's accomplished, and rightfully so.
Yeah. All right, speaking of awards, you know, Daryl Morey, he doesn't think we should have any anymore. Well, if it was up to Morey, there would be no MVP awards. And, you know, obviously, he told the Crossover that in an interview that he questions the method of voting the league uses to name its award. Morey said, quote, you could argue for eliminating the awards altogether. I like clean answers. If there's not going to be a set criteria and there's going to be issues with how it's structured, for me, it might be better not to have it at all. Of course, Blake Griffin responded with a sarcastic tweet saying, honestly, we should do away with championships too. Seems done to me. Participation trophies for everybody. Don't at me. I like it. A sarcastic Blake coming back again. Chris, do you agree with Morey, or is he just mad that James Harden didn't win MVP?
I think it's a little bit of both. But look, I agree with him to a certain extent. Can I do that?
Yeah, okay.
Look, there is some truth to the fact that there is no set criteria.
There never has been.
There never has been.
That's the point.
And that is the point. But look, this year in particular, it was an unconventional year. I typically vote for who's the best player on the best team or one of the best teams. That wasn't the case with Russell Westbrook. But the last 2 weeks of Russell Westbrook's season, that just did it for me. And James Harden kind of tailed off. And that was the deciding factor.
Like, honestly, it was just the finishing kick.
That was it.
It was the finishing kick. Like, I was out on the road with Russ as he was chasing the triple-double. Saw, you know, he had the most amazing finishing kick. James had a wrist injury. They didn't really need those wins. And it wasn't just the triple-double record. It was the way he closed games. And then the exclamation point at the end where he hits the 50-footer. To beat Denver and come back in a game. They didn't even really need to win, but it cemented the narrative that, like, Russ is clutch.
Look, I can taste the salt from here, from Houston. Jeez. I mean, come on, like, Daryl Morey, he made the complete opposite argument in 2015 when he was trying to campaign for James Harden to beat Steph Curry. And now, when it's convenient to his argument now, look, Russell Westbrook did something that hasn't been done since 1962. If Daryl Morey wants to use previous precedent for what's defined an MVP, then this is the year, like Chris said, this is unconventional. This doesn't fit that type of season. So what Russell Westbrook did this year, I don't think that you can just now extrapolate that and equate that every season down the line. This was unique. This was different. This was history. And look, it was only 8 wins.
Yeah, but he's also, like, sticking up for his guy. Like, you know, when you're arguing balls and strikes, you go out and kick dirt on the umpire? That's what Daryl Morey's doing.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
All right. So Morey and the Rockets have been linked closely to Carmelo Anthony. You've heard that all summer long. And Carmelo was in Baltimore today. He spoke for the first time this offseason when he was receiving a Medal of Honor from the mayor of Baltimore at the basketball tournament's Day of Giving. Listen to what Melo said about his status with the Knicks.
I've been away from the fray. I mean, you haven't heard any comments from me, and I'm growing my hair out right now, and spending time with the family, and I'm being an AAU dad right now. That's what matters to me at this point.
The New Yorkers are wondering what the chances are of you being in the extreme.
I don't know. I'm not talking about basketball right now.
Did you meet with the Knicks at any point?
No.
All right, first of all, he totally looks like an AAU dad. Second of all, can we just say, like, before we even discuss the topic here, shout out to Melo for the work that he's done in the community of Baltimore. He said today that medal that he received is more important than the gold medal that he received in the Olympics. I actually agree with him. For what he's done in Baltimore, that's his hometown. Shout out to him for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Royce, though. We've been talking about Melo. We're going to keep talking about Melo until he gets traded someplace again, because we've done this. We did the Melo drama one more time. Whose fault is this? Why are we here?
I guess technically, Ramona, it's his fault, right? If he waives his no-trade clause, he can go wherever he wants. The Knicks can find a trade.
Phil Jackson may still be in charge of the Knicks.
Exactly. So I think, though, if you want to kind of try to break it all down, I guess you could probably maybe point some of the blame at Phil Jackson. He decreased Melo's trade value. The Knicks are kind of hamstrung here. They don't have a lot of trade partners. They don't want to just take non-guaranteed contracts. They want a player back. They want an asset. So I think it's actually Melo's fault because he could fix this if he wanted to. But in a bigger picture, I think it's Phil Jackson's fault.
Royce took my answer, so I'm going to go the opposite.
Great answer.
mean, it was a great answer. I
You were
thought
that
of first,
persuadable.
But I will go with it being the Knicks' fault, but giving him that no-trade clause.
That's even better.
Because, look, they have to deal with, you have to examine it and look at a player's future 3-4 years down the road and look at, is he going to decline? You have to try to project. They did a horrible job in projecting where this roster was going to be if Carmelo was going to fit the roster as constructed. It's not. So now Carmelo has all the chips, and he's holding out and waiting off supposedly just strictly for the Rockets.
Well, you know, it's so easy, though. Look, if you don't want to be in New York, just go in there and tell them, I don't want to be in New York. Right. Look into the camera and say, I don't want to be in New York. I want to go to Houston. He doesn't want to do that, though, because that is his legacy. Once you say that publicly or even privately, because you know it's going to leak, then everybody says, Melo quit on the Knicks.
That's true, but does he really want to leave New York, Ramon?
I think he does now. You know why? Because somebody good wants him.
That's true. But judging by this summer, he's talking like he hasn't been concentrating on basketball or anything. Judging by the grooming habits that I've seen right now, he's having a rough offseason.
No, that's a good look. I like that AAU that look. All right, look, we got to go to break. All right, so you guys hold on.